Good evening, viewers, those who are watching us within Uganda and those in the diaspora. We are glad you have made NTV your #1 station in this country, and we are glad you have also made NTV People's Parliament your favorite program. As I always tell you, it's the only program that gives Ugandans a platform to speak about their everyday life and also to speak about government policies and to make recommendations to government. Probably they can make their lives better. I am your speaker, Agnes Nandutu, and tonight we are in Kumi district, yet to talk about a very important matter that does not only affect Kumi district, but the entire country and also the entire world, that is gender-based violence. We are in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. In Kumi here, we are focusing on sexual gender-based violence. I am told, according to information in the district, that very many girls are out of school. Many of them are child mothers. Many of them have dropped out of school because of sexual gender-based violence. So we want to give the young girls and boys a platform to amplify their voices against sexual gender-based violence. You are welcome, honorable members, Yalama Anyun, People's Parliament. I'm glad you have come in big numbers, but before I get the ball rolling, I want to invite our partners, Action Aid, to give us the statistics of sexual gender-based violence. Please, you're welcome, honorable member.
I work with Action Aid Uganda as the acting project coordinator of the Women Protection Shelters. Action Aid Uganda runs 10 women protection shelters in Uganda, and Kumi is among the districts where our program under the Women Protection Shelters run. As we celebrate, actually as we conclude the 16 days of activism, which ran from the 25th of November to the 10th of December, we felt it very key to have a discussion where we have the youth and the young people come and amplify their voices on what we call sexual gender-based violence. Gender-based violence takes very many forms, but this time we're interested in sexual gender-based violence, given the statistics that we've received from both the Women Protection Shelter in Kumi and also our partners that we work with. Among the key issues that we find or we see in the district, we find that we have very many young mothers. You find them in the market, they're pregnant, and then we wonder, do they report these cases? If they report the cases, is evidence being collected? If not, are they negotiating the cases? Because we find that most people negotiate sexual gender-based violence cases. And we talk about sexual gender-based violence cases, we are looking at cases of defilement, because we never negotiate cases of defilement under our penal code. So today we want to have an opportunity for the youth that we have here to have this discussion, and we find out, are these things happening in Kumi? And if they are, what are we doing? And actually, sexual gender-based violence in terms of Africa, Uganda ranks the second. So it means it's a very serious issue that we need to address today, and I guess this is going to be a very good opportunity for us to amplify our voices and at the end of the day to come up with a consolidated action point.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Honorable. I think you have heard for yourself. Kumi ranks highest, and just as he's saying, like in the room here, I actually have many child mothers, but I don't know whether their cases were reported at the police station. I don't know whether they have gone up to court. We shall hear that, but before we do that, I want the district chairperson, the strong woman of the district, Honorable, to tell us what they are doing to end this sexual gender-based violence in the district.
First of all, on behalf of the people of Kumi, I want to take this honor to welcome you and your team to Kumi.
Thank you.
Pertaining the topic of today, that is gender-based violence, and specifically on sexual gender-based violence. I agree to the statement that has been made by Action Aid, but I'm not very certain whether Kumi is ranking the highest in the country. But normally with the statistics, when proof is given, it becomes a challenging factor to all the stakeholders of this district. The question that you have given me on what we are doing as a district to stop the vice I want to say one thing we are doing is that we are partnering with Action Aid, and as a district we were able to provide space where we have now the office, where we have the gender-based violence shelter. Our cooperation is so good, and as a female leader of Kumi, I have time to reach some of the victims together with the support from Action Aid. But what I've discovered as the major cause of this sexual gender-based violence is the poverty levels. We have high poverty levels in the district, and young girls, because the parents fail to provide for them, they now take on that one as an alternative. So I therefore want to take this opportunity to challenge all the parents of Kumi and all the stakeholders of Kumi that a girl child is so vulnerable to the extent that as parents we need to have time with our daughters. Like the parents should also have time with their sons. Many of us are restricted by culture, Madam Speaker. Parents feel guilty. Parents feel ashamed to speak to their children on matters related to sex or other sexual behaviors. Because of the high poverty levels, Madam Speaker, like I said earlier on,
in some cultures, the aunties can speak to the girls. Has that culture vanished away? Was it here in Kumi?
It is not in Teso.
Okay.
I am happy that my cultural leader is also present with us here. Maybe at an opportune time, she will give us part on what culture, on what her office is doing in relation to this
Because Madam Chairperson of the district, according to the best of my knowledge, long time ago, our mothers used to get married when they are of age. And I don't know how they were handling that culture, but we shall come to that.
Yeah, I want to believe that it used to happen, and it's not in practice today. Not only in Kumi, but I want to believe elsewhere. The way girls are married off these days is not the way our mothers were married off. I am aware of the existing legislations to that effect, and I'm happy that our DPC and other stakeholders are present with us.
Okay.
And at an opportune time, it will be provided. But what I'm aware, because I'm a member of the security committee of the district, every month when we have this meeting, the police, especially the OCCID, normally gives us a summary of the cases in the district per month. And every time we hold these meetings, the gender-based violence cases are always on the lead. And I want to believe that at an opportune time, we shall give you that statistics. But I'm also not ashamed to declare that Ngero Sub-County is leading with the highest number of such related cases in the district.
If you hear the sounds of children crying, don't mind. We have young girls who were sexually harassed and they are now child mothers. DPC officer, how many cases do you have in this year of sexual gender-based violence?
I'm Cadet SP Michael Barnabas, standing for the DPC Kumi. Most of these cases are always reported, and we have records. Like for this year, we have around 124 cases of sexual-based violence.
This year only?
For this year. I think I will allow my admin to give you a comparison between the other years, and you see whether they are increasing or decreasing. Otherwise, cases have been reported, have been investigated, taken to court, and we have at least secured some convictions. So I want to assure you that we are not also sleeping, we are doing some work. Though we have some challenges, but we are trying.
I'm heading sexual gender-based desk.
Okay, how many have you detected so far?
The total cases received this year are 124. Those ones means and include defilement cases, rape, indecent assault. And out of this 124, we took about 77 to court.
77. What happened to the rest?
So far, we have got 32 convictions. They have been convicted. Then 15 have been dismissed because of poor follow-up.
How many have died because of negotiations between police and parents?
Reconciliation, we have a record of only 1. Then acquittal, also 1. Then those ones which are still under inquiries are 42. We do investigate cases of gender-based violence. We investigate, we cause the arrest of the suspects, we take them to court, and we cause their prosecution.
Okay, Detective Office, thank you so much for this information. We shall base on this to allow our girls and provide their voices. I will call you at an appropriate time to answer to the girls' concerns. Now I want the girls to speak.
Okay, madam.
I just want to talk about what the DPC has said. You see, in most cases, when these cases are taken to police, Madam Speaker, you find that when a boy's family is well off, the girl's case is not always followed because the police will connive with the boy's family, or the girl's parents will negotiate with the boy's parents and they receive bribery such that the case is not followed. That's what I wanted to say.
I would also like to elaborate on the cases of gender-based violence in the police case. By the way, these days, the slogan commonly used is something for something. These police officers, I had a case of my aunt when she was in senior 4. They took it to court. The police officer said she also wanted. It was her problem. She accepted it, yet she was just raped. But justice is not something that is needed to be taken for something else. It is something very critical that needs to be addressed in a manner that is to be followed by every police officer. When my aunt told me that in this police station in Soroti, she said the police officer told her to go back home, call the lawyer, even though she wants to bring as many lawyers as she wants. The boy has well-educated lawyers who can win this case more than her.
I focused on the issue of the reconciliations. The problem also comes on the sexual basic violence from our own parents and leaders behind. The person who has been affected cannot come to police direct where we can check our police that they are the ones encouraging maybe something for something. No, the problem also comes with our own parents. You find your girl has been impregnated and she said that, as long as the boy can take care of this girl, it is okay. Because if we go to police, definitely they need something, fuel the motorcycle, do this. That is the end. Thank you.
I want to agree with the one case the DPC reported, the reconciliation. Actually, I have a case whereby that person is present here, whereby in the beginning of this year, she was sexually harassed. Actually, she was raped by a border and she was a passenger. The border took her, stopped on the way and raped her. When she reported the case to police, issues arose from there. And somebody advised her to come to Action Aid Shelter Office. And she was advised, she was taken to a Tuturo hospital, she was tested and found that she was really raped. And the issue is, the police normally, though they may not be able to prick their own eye, but it happens in reality, whereby these people, because actually it comes when going to school, whereby these people do not really allow, when someone comes in with a lot of money and the poor girl doesn't have anything to offer, you find that they are able to collide and the girl is innocently abused. Her future is spoiled, and yet in Uganda today, most of our well-being families are headed by women. So government needs to do something. We need to do something, and the police, we need to work in hand.
It is really embarrassing that when a young girl has been sexually harassed, and then the police and the parents, you say something for something. You want to spoil that girl's future because of something. And that something is money. It's really unfortunate. I think you have heard the voices from Kumi about the sexual gender-based violence, as we have heard. It is one of the highest district ranked in sexual gender-based violence. Let's go for a short break. Do not go away. NTV People's Parliament comes back shortly. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching your favorite program, NTV People's Parliament, the only program that gives you a platform to speak about issues that affect your everyday life. And tonight we are in Kumi district, within the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We are focusing on sexual gender-based violence in Kumi district. And we have here the young girls and boys who have been affected by this sexual gender-based violence.
Gender-based violence is real and sexual violence is real. But as our LOC5 said, poverty levels are high. Some of this vice emanates from economic violence, lack of economic violence. I was denied the right to work, but my father-in-law told me, don't you know it's a Uganda's woman right to work? So some of women are denied the right to work so that they take care of their girl child. And of course, it also emanates from patriarchy and subordination of women. So you find that the decision making, it's only for males. They marry how many women they want. They sell land, a woman will not say anything, and they buy borders, they come in town, produce more children. So you find that this vice continues. And as they informed me of my rights, they had to coerce him. And when he gave me my rights to start working, with the time I went back at school, people in Kumi, they know me right now. I lecture at UCU. I am yet to graduate with masters. Yet I started on the certificate. And no one can deceive me that I can go for that, like being abused sexually because I want to earn, because I have something, I own a salon, I work. So these girls, we are abused because we have nothing, as our mama said, that because of poverty. But if we are denied our economic rights, how shall we help ourselves?
You'll find that these issues are happening even in schools. You'll find that teachers are getting engaged with the students. Small, young girls, and even young boys these days, by the way. They are also getting what? Teachers, they are not even mind, they are getting engaged with this. Some of these students, the children they are teaching. So it's also one of the problems. I don't know how the district, I don't know how the police officers, I don't know whether you've recorded some of those issues also, and I don't know how you've followed up on them. And then there are issues, you find, as Honorable said, that issue of poverty. Really, it is really a challenge, but we find that many girls are forced to come here to live in town, maybe to work as maids, and even the boys, they are there. Right now, if we are to check around Kumi here, you will find that, we shall not, Madam Speaker, fail to collect very young girls and young boys who are working as maids here. And I don't know how the district is thinking about that. If it is like to work as a maid, and of which age? That is the issue that we need to put across. If we say that let the children go to school, let them go to school, we have ability to grab them from from those householders, so that they will go to school.
Mothers, they are just ignored, the girls. They are not bothering. They are just looking their families as if they are not even bothering to help this girl child. Sometimes women does not have time to talk with their girls, does not have time to talk with their children, and they just leave their children just like that in an open place. Now the girl can access what? A chance of getting boys, engaged from other people. Now I really want to take this thanks to Action Aid. Since Action Aid has come to our village, I can see changes are coming out just like that. People, like we can collect people in the villages, we talk about these things, we can see changes are coming across. And this goes to our political leaders. Please help us, girls. We are just crying, help us. Just whenever we get a problem, please be concerned and help us. I beg the government, please help us. We are in problems.
In most cases, when you go out there in Kumi district, culture restricts most of the things that girls do. For example, when it comes to going to school, realize that a family might be having like five children total. And maybe in that, maybe a girl happens to be the firstborn, maybe the boy follows and the others. But you can realize that these people can be maybe in the same classes, so the girl at times goes even beyond the boy. But when it comes to reaching to the secondary, the first person they will consider is the what? The boy. They will say that the girl has to wait. And she's waiting. Remember, girls have so many temptations. She walks alone. When she says so long, when she becomes idle, someone can deceive her. At the age of maybe of 12, she becomes a mother. Now we'll be responsible for that, even the families. Then when we go direct to the schools, teachers are responsible. Why? In most cases, in some schools, a teacher can deceive a young girl. Maybe because he wants maybe you to pass, he wants to give you fake marks, and wants you to have sex with him. Even that thing happens even right up to universities. Kumi University even has those issues. Because most girls, for example, if you're a first year, someone takes advantage of you, tells you do this, come, you know what, being in the university, those kind of things. And at the end of the day, you become a victim, and there's no one you can report to. I've talked about police, madam. Police, they are the one of the people who are supporting these things. Because police of today, if you're poor, you'll never be helped. Even if you go up to court, your case will always be there. Come back until you get tired. That's why they're saying maybe they've dismissed some people because they failed to follow up. Those people follow, but they get tired at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Police, we need to wake up, because you are very important stakeholders in ending sexual gender-based violence.
The problems that we have in Nyero sub-county are these ignorant parents.
Actually, Nyero is the one that is ranking highest in Kumi.
The problem that we have is unemployment. That is what is causing all that. Since the youth have failed to get jobs, they just think that it's better I get married, other than just wasting my time looking for a job. Even if you go to those offices that you want to get a job, they will tell you, you give me, I give you. That is, you open, and I open gates for you. That is the problem we have. The other one is Team No Sleep. There is a slogan we have, Team No Sleep. For us,
what do Team No Sleep do?
Those are just like prostitutes, you get. They just go, you use yourself as you get money, at least for survival, because most of them are dropouts. Young girls are suffering in the villages. They don't have money. Maybe you have kids.
We're also being faced with the issue of whereby if you came to our secondary schools, you'll not find changing rooms for girls. And girls, we really face a problem when we receive our menstrual periods, whereby your skirt gets spoiled. Teachers end up laughing at you, students, so someone really tends to give up. Someone says that, why would I be a laughing stock at school? So someone really tends to go back home simply because we don't have sanitary pads, we don't have changing rooms. And also there's an issue whereby there are teachers whereby we know lessons are to stop at 4, but there are teachers who put extra lessons whereby we have day scholars, some of them come whereby there is 1 kilometer to school, some even more than that. So by the time the lesson ends at around 7, you go back to school. By the time you think of going back home, there is so a lot of temptations on the way. Bodas disturb you. Whereby if that continued every day, someone will really get tired. Why don't I give up? Remember, once you go back home, there are some parents who really can't listen to you that there was an extra lesson. So someone says, instead of me suffering, maybe my mom beats me because maybe a mother can tell you, my daughter, I don't think you are really at school. Maybe you are at a man's home. So it'd be like, instead of me suffering, beating me for no good reason, why don't I just give myself to this bada men, and the stress ends there. So this can also, so let's sensitize our girls and make sure the government should help us maybe with finances to the schools, that we provide changing rooms for girls, sanitary pads, and maybe help us to sensitize the young girls and provide sanitary pads to the students. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I am an example who has a child who's crippled. But you will find those younger mothers, most of them get those crippled children, and they are being rejected in the community, and they are being rejected in the families, and you will find yourself, you're helpless, you have nowhere to go with the child. That's why most of the younger mothers have resorted to abandon those children. Not only crippled, but if you move around, you will find many children have been abandoned in the community. And still I'm talking on disability. Mothers who are here and fathers who are here, disability is a gift of life in the family. It is a gift of life in the community. Let's not abandon those
kids. Men who have some money, they bribe these girls, and most of them are married people. They come back, they leave their women, they come and disturb these young girls. When they create a problem to us, they run back home to their women. They leave them to suffer. So most of the girls face that challenge of being bribed off. So because of the financial status at home, so most of them just accept and give in because they are not all that financial all over at home. So they just go on their lives just like that. Then another thing I want to add on, we parents, let's create, most of these girls are lacking career guidance at home. Let's give them parental guidance. If we parents, we have, our girl maybe has a challenge, has failed in something, let's guide her. Some of us, we have child mothers at home. We end up saying, that one's a loss. No, let's put hopes towards them. Let's give them second chance in life. All of us, we make mistakes in life, but let's just give them second chances. There are always these small courses that people can always earn a living. Try maybe in another option. Maybe from there, God will lead her in another way. Then another thing I want to add on to the girl, let's set strict laws, especially in video halls. Most of these, especially teenagers, school children, they leave school, they come home, they leave early, they go to video halls, they see so many sort of things, pornographies, and that thing will always spoil their minds.
Police officer, I think you have just in 1 minute today, who can give me this information? Are you aware of those video halls? Do you inspect them?
We have ever tried to stop.
Speak to the microphone and to the people.
To stop and even try to confiscate some of his assets. But, you know, sometimes anyway, things are done, the one comes and he says, you see, we give him the things. Like a Christian.
What do they see? They give you kidoko or?
No. Actually, we have a challenge.
There's somebody who wants to give you information.
They know all the places there where they show the videos. They are the very participants that observe. What do we mean by patrolling? If we are patrolling, that shows that you are in position to see that whatever happens in the district here is exactly what's happening in Ongino and other places. So it makes
they are participants, they also go and watch.
They participate, they devise. That's why we are saying that. He gave an example that they confiscated the Sultan. What made you to give him back the property?
No, we had a lot of challenges. First of all, from the political side, people came there to the station pleading. Because, you know, the owners of these videos are also part of the voters of these political leaders. So they go, because they cannot come direct.
So the politicians compromise your work, Mr. Officer?
They go, and they come back and now they tell you, see,
I want to give it in the way that I come from Ongino sub-county, and we have a video hall there. I want to stand here today and say, these very police people go there and watch the so-called Sultan.
What is Sultan?
There is this guy who translates in actors, like the VJ Junior in Kampala.
He's a translator of the movies.
For me, I'm in a way that government, when someone is opening up a video hall, remember, we are having schools near these centers. Almost every village now has a training center. And now, whatever they show there is none of other people's businesses. But I want to stand in a way that during lunch hours, these people go in these video halls, and the police are patrolling there.
We have expected actually the municipal council to give us the bylaws which will support police. Actually, we have ever told them we need the bylaws actually which restrict the watching of the young kids from the video halls. We restrict the time of opening and the time of closure. We have ever tried actually to come even to the municipal council, but in vain, they have never given us those bylaws.
Okay.
Because police actually works in the protection of the law. Okay. We have to protect those bylaws. If those bylaws are not there, sometimes we find actually challenging. The person will tell you, why have you come to close? What shows that this is the time for opening and this is the time for closure?
Are you aware of the team No Sleep?
When I came here in 2017, we had issues of team No Sleep. And we tried to arrest some of them and cautioning them not to be doing this transactional sex. And I have not been seeing cases of team No Sleep being reported. Unless they are hiding somewhere, but If you have any information concerning Team No Sleep, then you show us where they are keeping them safe.
I am surprised that even the responsible officers who are supposed to be on a no are divulging information that is uncoordinated. I want to say that the Minister of Information has really relaxed. When I was growing up, we used to watch cinemas. When I was a student, we used to watch cinemas. But a cinema would not be shown unless the assessment board has allowed it to be shown. One of the weaknesses we have here is the whole district does not have assessment board. And this should be regulated by UCC, Uganda Communications Commission, in conjunction with the Ministry of Gender and also the Ministry of Information. But I'm surprised officers who are here, including the police, do not know that.
Where's the mayor of Kumi?
Me as a mayor, I don't have any power to chase any person from an urban setting. But as a council, we have come up with regulations which sometimes we implement, but when you're implementing, sometimes you're like this, they have gone back again. So I want to say about the video halls. We finished to set up all the regulations that all video halls were supposed to begin operating around the 2 because of the school-going children. But Madam Speaker, I want also to say it here very clearly that what is damaging our tribe, one is negligence. People have run away from their responsibilities of taking care of their families. They leave children on their own and then they begin pushing blames, which cannot work. Let me say this. For example, President Museveni cannot begin nurturing our own families one by one. It's our responsibility as a community, as the leaders, as the population. So when you
now, as the mayor, before we go to responsibilities, as a mayor, what have you done?
As a mayor, we have decided to regulate. Because for me, I don't have any power to go and say that you, Team No Sleep, go away from Kumi Municipality. It will be a case on me, in case they drag me to court. Now, I wanted to suggest here that let the parliament come up with strong policies. These policies come from there, and then they come down to the local government. Then for us, we shall implement.
Very many challenges, but we need to sit down, we need to come back and go back to the drawing board to ensure that we end sexual gender-based violence in our district, particularly in Kumi. Let's go for a short break. Do not go away. NTV People's Parliament comes back and to give suggestions on what we can do to end the sexual gender-based violence. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching your favorite program, NTV People's Parliament, chaired by none other than your speaker, Agnes Nandutu. We are in Kumi district speaking about sexual gender-based violence as we wind up our 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in our country and the entire world. Now, we want leaders to give commitment on what they will do to ensure that sexual gender-based violence is history in Kumi district. I will begin with the district chairperson.
I want to make a few commitments that one, we shall continue partnering with a number of stakeholders, including the Human Rights Organization, Action Aid, and others that are working in the district. Like we have been doing, Madam Speaker, we have also been doing the aspect of follow-up of some of the cases. Once they are reported in the gender-based violence shelter, we have been working together and actually ensuring that some of these cases reach court. A reason why you have seen the statistics that was presented by the detective officer. So we shall not...
These statistics, 124 are the ones that are reported at police. But more than this should be dying silently in the villages.
The issue, Madam Speaker, I want to say, like it was mentioned, some of the people want to negotiate a number of cases outside the legal system. And I think as politicians who are present here, we should take that one up as a very strong initiative.
Now thinking about bylaws against these vibandas, because this is where sexual harassment takes place.
Madam Speaker, generation of a bylaw for a lower local government and an ordinance for a district is a process. And for this matter, I therefore want to task the technical staff, because you know there are stages that are normally involved. That cannot be a very big challenge, so long as the technical staff guide us to this effect. With my team and the SARS present, let us have programs to go and talk to young people in schools.
Thank you.
Because some of them may be falling victims of the circumstance because they lack what? Information.
What do you commit to do as the police department in the Kumi district?
First of all, we shall do our community policing, and we sensitize the community about the dangers of gender-based violence. And in case community policing does not work well and we report your cases, we shall do our investigations, take the suspects to court until justice is what? Delivered.
I'm here for the RDC precinct. I want to agree with all people who have talked here that the gender-based violence is real in Kumi. But Madam Speaker, I want to report to you that something is being done. That's why police is telling you that at least some cases, some convictions, getting 34 convictions in court, it's not easy. That means something is being what? Is being done. And I want to call upon all leaders here and all people present that it's not work of police alone, it's not work of Action Aid alone, it is all of us to participate what? In this thing. If we go and sensitize our families, if we go and educate our children, because as the chairperson said, Madam Speaker, the biggest problem here is poverty. Poverty leads to early dropouts. Poverty leads to early what? Pregnancies. Poverty leads to prostitution. Prostitution. That's poverty. So if we can go and engage our communities and fight the vice of poverty, we shall be going ahead. That's why government brought programs like Quest Creation, Youth Livelihood. Let's engage in them. Let's participate. Let's mobilize our community.
And parents who are crying of poverty for not taking your girls to school, there is universal primary education and there is universal secondary education. So take advantage. And there is a learning scheme at the university level.
Commitment is we are going to follow up these cases. I sit in the security committee. We are going to work with police. Whatever you have raised, we have had, and notice we are going to clean our house. That's our commitment.
Thank you,
Madam Speaker.
There's one thing that we have missed to discuss as people from Kumi and Diteso in general. That is the issue of Okadibong. If I could translate it in English, it is somebody who goes to a party that he or she is not invited for. We have a very big challenge whereby our children, the youth, even the small ones, go and even do very bad things before parents. They destroy food. They can do anything. And to make things worse, we the parents go with the children, the whole family.
So as a cultural leader, what do you commit to do?
First of all, we shall be continuing to work with Action Aid and the district and sub-county leaders, because these are the partners that are always working with us. And I'm also encouraging the community of Teso to stop leaving our children just roaming around, and we are not caring about our children. We go drinking, we don't mind about what the children are going to eat. So I'm encouraging the parents, the mothers, especially the mothers of Teso. During the old days, mothers were not supposed, women were not supposed to go to drink in a bar.
But they are now drinking.
But now mothers are going to drink in the bar. And we leave children at home and our husbands at home. Some of us even sleep where we go to drink. So as a cultural leader, I think I encourage us, the mothers, to take a lead in seeing that we are at home and having time with our children. Let us befriend our children and have time to educate them on all this, what they are doing. There is something coming up. This issue of this bad waragi, these circuits. Our children even carry this waragi and they drink. Small children also drink this because it's even cheap, 200, 500. And I hear when you take it, doesn't take you long and you chemuka. So I don't think this should be encouraged. We are gathered here because of you, the children. And you should also learn to listen. The girls, we are talking, I'm talking as a mother, I have a daughter, but I will be happy to see my daughter tomorrow growing up. I call my friends to come for her marriage, a good marriage, not this marriage of defilement where we are calling police to chase you, to chase your husband, the so-called husband. Bring to me a man, a husband who's ready to take care of you and the children. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Together with the cultural leaders, we are going to strengthen and revive the deeply degenerated values. People marrying off girls, sugar daddies defiling children, and some of them could be here.
They are here. They are there.
Huh? Yeah? Sugar mummies, if they are here.
They are there.
So, from this day on, we are going to demand for coordination and demand for justice in this district.
Okay.
It's been very interesting, and I think our voices have been amplified. It's not a blame game actually, but it is an opportunity whereby we all take to know what we're not doing right, and then we see how we can all as partners and stakeholders come together and see that our young girls, our young boys, our women have peace and they are staying in safe places. So as ActionAid, and on behalf of ActionAid, we do commit to work hand in hand with our key stakeholders, the police, the district, especially the community involvement department, the hospital, the judiciary, and all the community structures to see that we end and prevent this vice called gender-based violence. I thank you.
Because of time constraints, we are unable to continue, but I thank you so much for being part of this parliament. Yalama Anyun. It has been a very good debate from the people of Kumi district. You have given very good suggestions. The leaders have made very good commitments. And it's my hope that when I come back to Kumi district and we evaluate your commitments, will have done something in Kumi district. For the development of this country, we need to keep our girls in school. For the development of this country, the sugar daddies, you should put down your guns. Those who have been watching us, we are glad that you have been part of NTV People's Parliament sitting here in the Kumi district talking about sexual, gender-based violence. You have had the leaders made commitments. The powers that be, you have had suggestions from the young girls and the boys. I hope that those who are supposed to implement the laws should do it quickly to safeguard a girl and to keep our girls in school such that they have good marriages, such that they can have good weddings and have reasonable families who will also manage to take their children to school. I am your speaker, Agnes Nandutu, and I aspire to inspire you before I expire. With powers conferred upon him as the Speaker of People's Parliament, I adjourn this house until next Saturday.
Views expressed on this show do not represent those of NTV or its staff.